The Right Honourable Chris Hipkins is with us this morning. Talofa lava, and good morning. Welcome to the program this morning.
Talofa lava, and very good morning to you too.
How are you this morning, Mr. Hipkins?
I'm very good, thank you. The sun is coming up in Wellington. It looks like it's going to be a lovely day.
Very nice. Okay. Now, it's our first interview of the new year. Did you have a time to relax and spend a time with the whānau over the festive season?
We have indeed. We had a bit of time off and a few weeks back into the job again now, but it was certainly a nice summer. The weather could have been a little bit warmer and a little bit more sunshine, but can't complain.
Excellent. Okay. Mr. Hipkins, sometime this morning, the petition will arrive in the Parliament this morning, and this is from the leaders and the Pacific community here in New Zealand, asking for free visa traveling from the Pacific to New Zealand. Now, if you are in the government, what will be your response and how quickly you can respond to this petition?
This is something that we think that we need to respond to quite quickly. So we're looking at that very actively at the moment. And my goal is to have a policy on that announced before the election so that people will know when they vote at the election on it. I do see that it's an unfair system at the moment. People can arrive and get instant visa access from many other countries, but not from the Pacific. And given the closeness of the relationship between New Zealand and the Pacific, I think that is something that we need to fix.
Okay, excellent. Well, it's good to hear that you fully support the petition. So what if, because I'm aware of Vasamana Winston Peters will receive the petition on behalf of the government. So what will be your message to the government once it brings into the Parliament sometime this week?
So it'll go to the Petitions Committee so that it gets a proper hearing.
Yeah.
My issue at the moment is just working through how we could make the change. What would be needed to make that change? How could we practically implement that? What would be the things that we'd need to overcome? Are there any risks that we'd need to sort out? I want to know that if I'm promising to do it, at the election campaign, that I've got a plan to be able to do it and that we can do it reasonably quickly. So the reason that I, don't put my name to promises prematurely is that I want to know that when I put my name to a promise that I've worked it through. I think, when it comes to Pacific immigration, I think there have been too many promises made in the past that haven't been kept. And I want to make sure that any promises that I make, I know that I can keep them.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris Hipkins. There was an announcement yesterday by the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Christopher Luxon. From my view, and for our Pacific people in New Zealand, we're suffered of the cost of the electricity. Let me bring my co-host to ask you a question about this, please, Mr. Hipkins.
Yes, Chris Luxon announced yesterday this new energy plan. Why is it an issue for you and for the Labour government and for the Labour Party? And what will you do to alleviate this?
The electricity companies have been making billions of dollars in profits as a result of high electricity prices.
Yeah.
The government is now saying that in order to fix the high electricity prices, they're going to charge every New Zealand household more money in the form of a new tax to pay to build new generation. My view is that the electricity companies should be paying for that themselves. They've already made billions of dollars in profits, and I'm saying to them they should be putting just a bit of that massive profit they've made back into fixing our energy sector so that we've got the electricity that we need.
Oh, awesome. So what do you think of the, we've heard that you criticised the FTA negotiations, and why is that?
Well, the government have made a real hash job of the negotiations around a free trade agreement with India, going in and signing up a deal without making sure that you've actually got a majority in Parliament who will support that deal is pretty irresponsible for a government to do. I think that, trade with India is very important to New Zealand, and if we've got opportunities to expand that, then that would be a good thing. But we've got to be clear what we're signing up for. So if you take the immigration considerations and the trade agreement with India, then I think it's very relevant to the petition that we're receiving today. The government is saying that, India in some cases will have preferential treatment around immigration compared to our Pacific neighbours, who are our closest friends and allies. And I think we do have to consider that very carefully. So when it comes to immigration, we're a pro-immigration party. We believe that there's room in New Zealand for people who are coming here to make their lives here, but we can't take everybody all at once, and we have to be careful about what we sign up for.
Right. Okay, Mr. Hipkins, the general election is about 9 months away from today. Is it too early to announce that you can work together with the Te Pāti Māori, or you rather want to leave it closer to the election?
We're going to set out before the election who we think we could work with after the election, what policies they're proposing that we, have sympathy with, and the ones that we simply wouldn't support, because some of the policies being put forward by some of the other parties, including the Māori Party, where they're saying we're going to abolish prisons. That's the Māori Party's view. We just could never support that. Well, I don't want as many people in prison as we have at the moment, because I want there to be less crime in the first place. Abolishing prisons is not a way to achieve that.
Mr. Hipkins, we've been looking at the latest polls. You're doing really well. What have you done? What was something that you've done that bring back the support of the New Zealand people?
Well, the number one lesson from Labour at the last election is when people don't vote for you, you've got to make sure that you're actually getting out there and listening to them.
Right.
You can't keep promising them things that they don't want.
Yeah.
And so we've spent a lot of time listening to our communities and reconnecting with those who used to vote for us but didn't. And we've been hearing what they want us to be focused on. They've been pretty clear: jobs, health, homes, cost of living. These are the things that they want to see Labour focused on. So that's what we've been focusing on, and we've seen our support rebounding because of that.
Okay, a couple of more questions. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing New Zealand right now, and how would you approach it?
There are so many challenges facing New Zealand, but I would say one of the biggest challenges is jobs. If people can't get jobs, then so many of the other things that life should be able to offer them aren't available to them. So we've got to create jobs for everybody, and not just any old jobs, but we want good, well-paid jobs so that people have the security that comes from being able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Okay, what is the one thing you want voters, especially Pacific voters, to understand and about your vision for the country?
New Zealand is a very diverse, multicultural society, and our Pacific communities make up a big part of what makes New Zealand special. And, Labor's always had a strong support from our Pacific communities, but we never take that for granted. We know we have to keep re-earning that at every election. So my message to our Pacific communities is we're going to be out there working hard to earn your vote. We want your support because we want to see a country that is more inclusive and that actually delivers for everybody, not just those who are doing very well.
Chris Hipkins, Whawhetai Tele Lava, thank you so much for your time.
Great to talk to you.
Whawhetai Lava, thank you. Taeao Labour Party, Chris Hipkins, Malu Taeao 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 Taeao